What's going on, guys? Dom here from Clover Trading, coming at you with another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be going over ticker symbol NVOS. I'm going to talk about why this stock fit my criteria for multiple multi-day breakouts, kind of go over the chart, go over what I'm looking for that setup, and how I continually screwed this stock up, how it really got under my skin, how due to its erratic nature, I became emotional with every single position I took, made many mistakes, mis-executed along the way, all leading to me really missing the main trade that I was looking for and really just botching it completely. So before we get into it, make sure you're subscribed to the channel right here at Clover Trading YouTube, like this video, and comment if you traded NVOS or you've been in a situation similar to this. All right, so let's take a look at the daily chart for NVOS. This is a lower price stock, which is something I really like to trade because I started off trading OTCs for the longest time in 2016, 17, 18, and 19. And so whenever I get a chance to trade these lower price stocks, they tend to act a lot like OTCs, so that, you know, the technical analysis, the price action is really familiar to me. So that is something that, you know, it will move up on my priority list when we have low price stocks running. And NVOS actually started moving in sympathy to TTOO once this stock kind of blew off, broke out through the 40 cent area all the way up towards 70 cent. This was a big move for a low price stock coming off its lows, and there were some other stocks that ended up following along with it. One of them was NVOS. So if you know anything about my trading, I'm really looking for continuation moves. I'm letting the stock kind of get on my radar, go on its run. If it's extended enough on that first initial run, I'll look to take advantage of the first red day short. But if not, I'm generally just watching it for days and days following this initial move to see if the stock sets up for a potential multi-day breakout. And for me, the criteria for that is really simple, looking for daily charts where the stock is doing significant volume relative to the rest of the daily chart. In this case, you can clearly see down here the increase of volume relative to the rest of the daily chart once the stock gets some eyes and attention. I'm looking the stock to go on a big move, show me that it's volatile, that it has range, that it can run, so that if I trade it in the future, I do know what I can expect from it in terms of percentage gain, maybe dollars or cents a share I can be expecting. In this case, the stock goes, you know, gaps up from the 7 cent area, tops out right around 25 cents. Significant move there, definitely volatile, checks that box. And then I'm just looking for the stock to top out and not break that high for at least one day. So once this top is set, at least one consolidation day. Oftentimes you're going to see a lot more before attempting to re-break it. And so this stock really just lives on my watch list for multiple days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right in here, and then begins to set up for something I really like. This potential multi-day breakout where we actually came all the way down towards 12 cents, had a pretty impressive bounce up into the 23 cent area, set a nice lower high to the breakout level of 25 cents, consolidate a nice sideways price action for a couple days, and end up breaking that 23 area quite nicely. But I learned a lot from this move, and this move was actually a loss. As you can see, it just wicks through that level, doesn't even test 25. Volume is kind of insignificant on this breakout attempt day as well, and the stock looks to have been a failed breakout. But I will still continue to watch these stocks as long as they aren't dead, and my eyes, you know, I'm just really looking for the death line to be broken on NVOS. That is, you know, down here, this 12 cent area. Once we're below that, I really think it's very unlikely that anytime soon we're actually going to break out over 25 cents if we break below 12. It was already asking a lot going from, you know, 25 cents down to 12 and then having to have an over 100% move just to get back over that level. But I learned a lot from this move. There was a lot of resistance in the 22, 23 cent area. You also had a lot of overcrowded long. It felt like an overcrowded long where everyone was trying to buy. Everyone was buying 22, 23, trying to buy 24. And so at that point, it just felt like there was a lot of selling pressure, a lot of supply up here in the 22 to 25 area. And then the stock fades off. But what interested me a lot following this gap up day here, the stock again sets a big higher low compared to the 12 cent area, spends a few days down here before gapping back up right into that resistance. But why I was really interested in it on this day, which is a little outside of my system, I'm generally looking for that consolidation, something to get really tight risk reward within shooting distance of the breakout level, was that we worked out all of those longs. A lot of the stop losses were hit, all the key levels were broken, all those 22 to 25 buyers had sold out, so there shouldn't be all that extra supply sitting in this 22 to 25 cent area. Also, any shorts in that area as well would have been rewarded with a nice multi-day fade, and we're given plenty of time to take profits along the backside of that move. So when we gap up right into these key levels, again, these are usually situations where I want to give the stock time, let it go most of the day, prove that it can hold up. And that's what this stock did on this day, where it did have some pulls, but it ended up closing right at that resistance in the 22-23 area. And so I took that stock long. I believe that was over the weekend, thinking that behaviorally, this is something I look at a lot as well, is what does this stock do following big green days? You know, this was a big volume day, over 200 million shares. It's done that before in the past. What does it do following big green days? Well, this stock tends to gap up nicely. Following this big volume green day, we had a giant gap up into the 20-cent range, had a morning spike. Following this big green day down here on good volume, we gapped up, morning spike. So in my eyes, if I can get good risk reward right into this resistance level that we're closing near, I should reasonably expect a gap up. A gap up from these areas would put us right around the breakout level, and then I could see what the stock can do once it breaks 25 cents. And now let's take a look at the intraday of this entire move. As you can see, this is the day right here that I'm talking about, where the stock gaps up big. This is after hours action, and then has a pullback, but ends up closing quite strong right inside of all these previous resistance. I can draw a line at this area that matters. That's pretty much where we close, with the main level 25-cent overhead. That matters a lot. Again, using the behavior of the stock, its gap history, the volume is there, it's right at resistance. If this is going to work, it's most likely going to gap up, and it's going to test that 25-cent area. So I'm buying, I think I had a 21 something average buying into the close here, probably risking the 17-cent area. I remember I was risking wide because it wasn't the best risk reward play. It was more of, if this is going to work, it's going to work now, so I need to get involved. And we end up gapping up slightly right into and holding the prior resistance right here in the 24-cent area, holding it before breaking out over 25 cents and going much higher, all the way topping out towards 35 cents. So I'm in a really good position from 21 cents, selling little pieces along the way into high day breaks here in the middle of the day. Zoom in a little more on that day right here. So this is like 2 p.m. where we break high day on this Tuesday following the breakout over 25 cents, top out at 35. I only get rid of probably a quarter or less than a quarter of my shares, really thinking about using this as a multi-day move. A lot of breakouts in this market over the last few months have been going, you know, they've had a breakout day, especially TTOO, which is, you know, this play is kind of started running in sympathy to. We had a breakout day and then one more gap up day following that, and this was day one of the breakout, so I really wanted to have most of my shares for the next day. But we crack severely from the 35-cent area all the way down towards 27, just slightly above the breakout. A lot of stop losses go off, all midday support is broken, and this is, you know, kind of starting where I start to get emotional on this stock. I'm pretty upset at this point now that we're, you know, 7 or 8 cents off of high a day. I had a chance to have a really solid percentage gain. My goal was 40 cents on this trade. 25 cent to 40 cent based on the stock's history was kind of my conservative target, but also enough to be a really nice move. So I didn't really get rid of that many shares into 35. But if you're a trader and you've gone through the ups and downs of this, your emotions can kind of flip the switch in a moment. And at this moment, I'm thinking, wow, I just gave away a ton of unrealized. Percentage wise, the stock is way off its highs now, and it's going to take a lot for this to get back up there. And I'm trying to manipulate my plan. My whole goal was that we'd probably end up holding midday support after this high day break here. Maybe we consolidate a little higher. It's in the 31 to 32 area, and we close in an area that allows me to feel like I can add as long as the after hours are good, and we should go higher the next day. But once we kind of close in this area down here, I get really, really uncomfortable. My sells, you know, my execution on this is where I really start to fumble the bag on this trade. So after selling a decent, less than a quarter of my shares up in here for profits, you know, I'm in from 21 cents. So all of this price action up here is all profit, but a lot of unrealized is gone, and that is messing with my head. I end up selling a decent chunk into low of day that gets broken. I think after this hard crack, the failed bounce to reclaim VWAP here, if we crack lower, even more stops are going to go off. Everyone's underwater, and this breakout's probably done, but it's a fake. We break through the low here, the 26.5 area, and only go down to the 25.8 area. That's where I fill the majority of my shares to get out. I have a small piece now that I'm being patient with, understanding that I'm in from 21 cents, trying to keep that average and just relax. But after hours on the stock, and this is the first of many times where after hours or pre-market gets me on this stock, it pulls all the way down towards the lows from the afternoon, and I ended up getting out of my position around 27 cents. So it's a win. It's a decent percent gain, but it's really unfortunate, and I feel like I've screwed up this trade. I didn't sell enough into the 35 push. I was horrible with my executions in terms of, if I'm just going to be selling this weakness here right into support in the afternoon, I might as well just hold and wait for bounces or give this stock more time, considering considering I'm in from 21, I don't need to sell this mid-range now that we're in between, you know, the 20 cent area and the 35 cent area. And especially selling after I was just sitting there, just, you know, feeling like I really screwed up already, gave up so much unrealized. So just take the position off altogether. It's a decent gain, nothing to write home about, but I really feel like I screwed this one up. So then fast forward to the next few days where this stock just gets me over and over. You know, I had a great trade plan. It was a great quality multi-day breakout setup. I was given really nice percentage return, just didn't capture it and really take advantage of it. So now, you know, I have a small cushion. This stock is continually holding up above this late day crack on the breakout day. So support is holding, previous resistance is holding as support. We're bouncing back into the breakout level, but I continually just kind of get attached to the stock that I have to trade it. I have to trade it every day. You know, the stock looks like it's going to work and go higher, and I'm buying into strength, which is not the move on this stock. Every time you can see the stock breaks through a resistance level or a previous level that you think matters, it's met with harsh rejections and pullbacks down towards support, which can get scary when a stock's overextended. You know, the stock started in the 7 cent area, it's in the 20s and 30 cent area, it's overextended. And so you get yourself in the mindset that if we lose support, if we lose 27 cents, if we lose 26 cents, that this stock is going to waterfall and it's just going to fade really, really hard. So I got into this situation where every time I'd take an entry, whether it was, you know, 28, 29, 30, it was always, I said I was risking wide, risking down to 26, risking down to this key level down here, but put myself in a position where if my average isn't good enough, or if I have too much size, I don't feel comfortable about taking it overnight each and every night when it's closing at 27, 28, like it does this night where we're closing so close to the support level. And, you know, I get nervous that if we gap down below or right near that 26, that flush could be bad. Or what if I sleep in, or if I'm at the gym in the morning and it starts to tank pre-market, I'm going to get out at 22 to 20 cents versus my risk level of 26. So this is, you know, a situation that really has plagued my career time and time again, which is trading inside of a range, but just taking losses and losses and losses. Whereas you can clearly see here, you know, you have the multi-day breakout level at 35, you have key support down here at 26 cents, and I'm just buying mid-range or even sometimes buying into support and just selling every time we hard crack into this line, where you've heard people like Kellogg or people like Roland talk about buying weakness, buying when there's blood in the water versus, you know, buying when everyone wants to buy. And if the stock continues to hold and what either barely break it or hold just above it, I do this thing where I'm trying to protect myself, and I'm trying to, you know, because I keep thinking if 26 breaks, we're going to lose 3 or 4 pennies real quickly, and that slippage could be really bad. So let's just get out at 26.5. Let's just get out at 27. Let's just not allow this thing to really screw us. But in the process, I'm just giving back profits. I'm taking 3, 4, 5 paper cuts over and over again, and I'm learning that this stock is a headache. Every time it looks like it's going to hold, reverse, break this downtrending line, you clearly have lower high, lower high, lower high into a support level, and all I'm doing is trying to get the perfect bottom. Buy, risk low a day when I should be risking 26. Okay, that breaks into after hours. And this kind of led to the point where I was taking multiple paper cut losses, to the point where on this day right here, I really thought that once this trend line broke, we were kind of making higher lows into this and lower highs from the breakout level, that once that trend line broke to the upside, we were most likely going to get an attempt at the breakout level. We're clearly still holding up. The stock's still strong. I'm trying to put behind me all the mistakes and all the emotions I have right now to keep giving it more opportunities, because it is holding up and it is technically an A+ setup for me. And so once we get to these lines and we're closing right inside of here, that's when I take my biggest position on it. Not insane for dollar risk, but I finally have full size risk on it. A lot of these trades in here were just small size and then taking the loss off early, so I have to keep re-entering. But this is something I've done that really causes me to butcher multi-day breakouts, is where I'm just trading the range from the highs to the lows when the stock hasn't done anything. It hasn't broken down, hasn't broken out, but yet I'm still in and out and in and out. And that messes with your psyche. It also you're continually to take realized losses on positions that in reality, any entry I took in here, risking 26, I never should have been out of it until it actually broke in this morning right here. But I finally get upset, I'm angry, so I go full size in here thinking it's gotta work. This time, you know, the after hour shenanigans on this stock where it just kind of pulls, breaks through all support on no volume. You don't really know if it's gonna catch or if this is gonna lead to the waterfall. Maybe some bad news happens. These are our crappy companies, low price stocks that are low price for a reason. And, you know, I just freeze. So I decide, you know, we end up closing 27 above this 26. I'll swing. If we break 26 the next morning, I'll get out for a loss. I'm basing all my risk off 26 at this point. And then the stock continues to play mind games. Gaps down to 24 cents. I'm at the gym at this point, looking at it from my phone and just say, F it, screw this, I'm done. Cut it all in the 23 cent area, 23 something, below 24, which ends up being the lowest it's been in this entire run for the last few days. And I take an extra 2 cents of slippage, double the risk on this on my most shares I've had. All for the stock to just end up being fine, consolidating, spiking back into the 30s, pulling back, holding the previous breakout level 25 cents before ending up working today. And today I end up still making money on it, but only having a couple $100 risk max because I'm so done with this stock. I've traded it every day for the last week. I've been trying to nitpick and find the perfect entry every single time based off the right risk level, but continually break my plan, cut before my risk, and then the time I actually use the risk level, I take the most size and catch slippage. And this is just how trading is sometimes, where if you let yourself continually fight a stock, in the real world, there's no reason for me to be taking the stock every single day. I could just be waiting. You know, we talked about the behavioral of the stock, waiting for the high volume green day below the breakout level and just understand that it's most likely going to gap up on that day, which is what we got today, where it finally started to prove that it was getting volume. It started to get volume. It was really strong on the day, breaking through previous resistance, holding up, and then we hold up strong into the afternoon. But because I traded it every single day, and I know if you can relate to this, whether you're a short seller and you're shorting every single green day on the way up, so then you actually miss the first red day because you're just so mentally drained from trading the same stock, looking at the same level too. And it really can just affect you. And what it ends up doing is taking away potential future gains because you screw up the day that actually matters because you've wasted all your mental efforts on the days when the stock's doing nothing. Look at these days, low volume, just consolidating, trying to pick a direction, wicks in both directions. They're just messing with us. They're messing with longs, messing with shorts. And then this morning, you know, we actually get that move. Maybe some shorts get squeezed, but we go from, you know, the mid to high 20s all the way up to 40 cents, which was the target I had initially. So, you know, this is just a really good lesson for me, just to kind of highlight everything we've talked about. This is a really high quality setup for me, but because I got too excited about it, wanted to trade it so perfectly, have the most size from the perfect average, I ended up trading it on a bunch of subpar days when there wasn't the eyes, the interest, the attention. There was nothing really going on there. It wasn't the high edge day, you know, the big green days on volume that lead to gap ups and morning spikes. That's today on this stock. Good volume, breakout day, consolidating near the highs into the close, sideways price action. Those are the high edge days on this stock that lead to bigger moves, not these days where I'm just trying to predict future price action because I've already butchered the initial breakout and now taking multiple paper cuts. And so it's really hard to walk away from a stock that you've butchered multiple times because you feel like the setup's still there. In this case, it was. And you know, you really have to know yourself as a trader. And for me, the more I get pushed around by a stock, the less likely I am to really nail it on the day that matters. There are other traders like Kyle, Laptop Legend, I know, who do really, really well and can just keep trading the stock as long as it's A+, as long as the setup's still there, and end up nailing it. And you know, the money they lost along the way is really just moot. So this is my trading on NVOS, a great lesson for me to understand, use the right risk levels, wait for the days that matter, and don't try to predict what's going to happen, and wait for real conviction where I can actually assess the trade, get good risk reward, and keep my emotions in check. So thank you guys. If you've been through something similar, if you fought a stock and ended up on the losing side of it, leave a comment below, like this video, and we'll see you in the next one.